Ain't it sweet, Texans fans? Ain't it sweet that your Houston Texans are in the playoffs? We don't know who we're going to play yet. That all has to play out on this Texans Victory Sunday, but go down right now. Go down and spam those H's in the comment section if you're pumped for a Texans Victory Sunday. Welcome in to Texans Today. I'm your host, Jeremy Chuggs, coming off an electric Saturday night primetime matchup for your Houston Texans. 23-19. We'll break it all down in just a moment, but what an exciting matchup. The Texans pulled it out late. 4th and 1 stop. The Colts running back dropped the pass, but still, the Texans in crunch time did what they had to do to win this game under first-year head coach DeMeco Ryans, rookie quarterback CJ Stroud, and a ton of Texans injuries. They got it done. And hey, if you didn't join us last night, you missed out because we had a blast. Over 1,000 people watching in the fourth quarter. So if you don't want to miss out again, if you don't want to miss out on the latest Texans news and rumors, go down and hit that subscribe button right now or go to youtube.com/TexansTV. Don't miss a single moment of Texans football. It's going to get exciting now that we are in the playoffs. And as I'm talking about the playoffs, let's look at the current AFC playoff picture. The Texans sitting right there at the 4 seed, awaiting that Jacksonville Jaguars and Tennessee Titans game, the noon slate game right there. If the Jags lose, Texans get that 4 spot. We'll get into all that in just a moment, but this is where we stand right now going into the Sunday football slate. And here are the different playoff scenarios for your Houston Texans. First off, if the Jags win and the Bills win, the Texans will be playing in Buffalo for the first playoff matchup of this year for the Texans. I don't know if this is the one I want the most. Jags, Bills win, Texans at Bills. Going to be a cold game there in Buffalo. That's the first playoff scenario for your Houston Texans. Now on to the second one, which this one scares me a little bit as well. If the Jags and the Dolphins win, we're going to have Texans at Arrowhead taking on Patrick Mahomes and the defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. That would be a tough matchup. We all know what happened last time the Texans played a playoff game at Arrowhead. They were up big in the first quarter and ended up choking away that game big time up against Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. And then the last scenario, if the Titans win, if they beat the Jags, the Texans, they win the division, and it will be Texans, a home playoff game as your AFC South division winners going up against the Cleveland Browns. And now that I have given you all the playoff scenarios for your Houston Texans, I just have to ask you this. Who do you want to play? From those 3 scenarios, these are the 3 teams that you'll match up with in the playoffs, depending on the results of today. Let me know. Is it the Bills type BUF? Is it the Chiefs type KC? Or is it the Browns type CLE? This is going to be the pinned comment on today's video. So after this YouTube ad break, I'm going to tell you who I want to play the most. Me personally, give me the Browns at home. I know the Texans just got whooped up by the Browns earlier in the month, but you gotta go for a home game. At Arrowhead, in Buffalo, both those games, not easy games either. So if it's me, I'm going with the Browns game. I'm going Texans-Browns in the first round of the playoffs. That's just me personally, what I would do. And coming up, I have more analysis, horns up, horns down from yesterday's matchup up against the Indianapolis Colts. But first, got to show some love to the sponsor of today's show, and that is Prize Picks. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100, ladies and gentlemen. And Prize Picks, they have a special leagues going on with the NBA season in full swing. A league created specifically for combo projections that includes 2 or more players from different sports or leagues. For example, LeBron James and Nico Collins at 10.5 combo of 3-pointers made and receptions. Nico would have gotten that last night alone if LeBron just made 2. He had 9 receptions. That's just one example of the special league that Prize Picks offers. And speaking of Prize Picks and games going on, national title game coming up for college football. This is my picks for the college football national title game. Michael Penix, he's been on a tear. He's maybe one of the best quarterbacks in college football this season. Give me more on the 300.5 pass yards. Blake Corum, I'm going less than 100.5 rushing yards. I don't know about you, producer Roley, but I just feel like national title game. I'm not feeling a 100-yard rush game for Blake Corum in this one. Roma Dunze, I mean, he's absolutely electric. Give me more on the 0.5 receiving touchdowns. And J.J. McCarthy, give me more than 223.5 pass and rush yards combined. Hey, you can use my picks. You can fade my picks. Just do it at PrizePicks. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. PrizePicks is daily fantasy sports made easy. Now, we got horns up for your Houston Texans. These are the guys that showed out yesterday, and I couldn't start this segment without mentioning one, Nico Collins. He was absolutely the best player on the field last night for the Texans or the Colts. Anybody on the field, Nico Collins, he was number one. 9 receptions on 9 targets, 195 yards, a touchdown. First Texans offensive player of the game, a 75-yard tutty where he absolutely burned the Colts cornerback. I mean, Nico Collins proving that he is a wide receiver one. He's going to get a big payday from the Texans when his contract is up, and he absolutely deserves it. Nico Collins, in the biggest stage for the Texans this year, shined the brightest. Shout out to Nico Collins. I salute you. And I just wanted to ask this question because he was, out of this world last night for the Houston Texans. So I want to know from you, what's one word to describe Nico Collins' performance last night? Amazing, fantastic, eccentric. Give me one word that you would use to describe Nico Collins' performance against the Colts. Next up, it's the guy throwing him the football. It's C.J. Stroud. Yeah, he was absolutely incredible last night as well. 20 of 26, 264 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Had a couple problems getting sacked, which we'll get to that later on in the program. But, that final drive from the Texans, that dot that he had to Nico Collins at the 6-5 yard line while he's getting hit in his face, an absolute laser missile and one of the best plays of the game besides that 75-yard strike that he had. An absolute dime to Nico Collins in the first play of the game. C.J. Stroud proving he is the Texans' future. He is the franchise quarterback. He is the guy that's going to lead this team to the promised land one day. C.J. Stroud shining in the brightest stage. And this last one, I had to give it to Christian Harris. I got to give him his flowers. These past 3-4 weeks, he has been on one against the Titans in both of those games. He was absolutely fantastic. Last night, a lot of defensive plays. Who was the guy right around the football? It was Christian Harris. He has been on an absolute tear. I just got to hats off to you, Christian Harris, because he has absolutely played out of his mind under DeMeco Ryans. Christian Harris from Alabama, a linebacker. DeMeco Ryans, a linebacker out of Alabama. It seems like that connection has worked really well for Harris this season, adding DeMeco Ryans to the coaching staff for him. Now, going to some horns down for the Texans, it's got to be the run defense. I was getting ready to pull my hair out last night if Jonathan Taylor ripped one more run against the Houston Texans. Look at these numbers. 30 carries, 188 yards, a touchdown, and that long touchdown of 49 yards that tied up the game. Just gashing. That's why I was honestly very surprised on that 4th and 1 that they didn't run it up the middle to Jonathan Taylor, because that had been working all game long. They decided to throw it to the 3rd string running back in the flat. Not a good play call in my opinion, because he was on one last night. And the Texans run defense, they need to shore up by the time the playoffs come around, or they are going to get torched in that first round of the playoffs. Second horns down, I hate to give it to him because he's been so good this year. It's got to go to Kaimi Fairbairn. It was a nail-biter at the end of the game last night because he missed the extra point. You cannot miss extra points at this point in the season. It is such a pivotal play. I know it's only 1 point, but if they get that 4th down conversion last night, the Colts score, they're an extra point away from winning the game. Kaimi Fairbairn, I know it's only 1 kick, but when your job is to only kick the football, every single kick matters So I had to go Kaimi Fairbairn for a horns down as well. And my third horns down, I've been rough on him, the rookie out of Penn State, Juice Scruggs. But I mean, he got beat multiple times last night, forcing C.J. Stroud to get sacked. DeForest Buckner worked him on multiple plays, and his run blocking and pass blocking was lacking last night. I'm looking for a lot more out of Juice Scruggs. To be honest, it looks like Jarrett, from the short sample size, Jarrett Patterson, the 6th-round rookie out of Notre Dame, has severely outplayed Juice Scruggs so far in their rookie campaigns. It's going to be interesting this offseason once Jarrett Patterson gets healthy, who they have starting, where, and who plays more, Jarrett Patterson or Juice Scruggs. Something to keep an eye on for this offseason. But hey, we don't have to worry about the offseason because we're in the playoffs, baby. And if you're proud of this team, if you're pumped for some Texans playoff football, go down and like the video right now. I want to see how many people are excited for this team, excited for this franchise, excited for this city. If you love this team, if you're proud of DeMeco Ryans and his staff and what they accomplished in one short year, go down, show it to them. I know a couple of them watch these videos. Go down and like the video.